Good news for Enshrouded fans on PC. Update 5, Path to the Flames, just gone live with brand new Twitch drops, whole host of improvements to the game, building and a lot more, and have announced their plans for the rest of 2025. Bad news, however, for console fans, as you won't be getting a chance to play Enshrouded now until spring 2026. Hey ratbags, it's Jade. Let's go over the latest and greatest with Enshrouded and why it's a bit sucky. That console is going to be so far behind. So update 5 is definitely a bit of a quality of life overhaul. Huge improvements to loads of different locations, POI, building, combat improvements, as well as adding a brand new creature, the armadillo. Right now you can go and watch your favourite Twitch streamers and also earn these items of clothing. Gotta say I quite like the diamond wall emblem. So some of the key features, I'm not going to list every single note, but this is the big stuff. There's now text and voice chat added. There's a whole bunch of options where you can change who can talk or how things can happen. So you don't have to have voice chat across global, you can have it just local. And text chat has got a bunch of profanity filters and stuff to really customize the experience for you and your friends or on a server. This is all part of their brand new social hub tab that you'll see in the game now. You'll be able to change or see every player or person's permissions, locate their position on the map, and even go through your whole chat history. And if you don't like talking or texting, you can now go ahead and emote. There's a whole bunch of emotes now that have been added by pressing X on keyboard or D on down pad on a controller. Ton of improvements. First person camera for building. If you really like to get lots of detail in there but always sick of your character getting in the way, well, now you'll not make them mistakes. You'll have an invisible floating hammer and you can go ahead and customize to your heart's content. You can now rotate a bunch of props as well, and you can now place foods on tables with lots of mats and tape trays and stuff. They're also adding a brand new overgrowth and building decay modifier. Basically a tool where you can go ahead and use it to put either moss and vines on a building or make something look a bit weathered and more ruined. Great little feature for sure. Instead of having to do it all manually and individually, this makes so much sense. I really do love the way that you can customize the terrain. You get these new tools from the collector. And here from the dev blog you can see the placement of foods on tables and stuff as well, which you can eat directly. There's over 70 brand new props as well. A lot of them also celebrating, by looks of things, the Lunar New Year, with a new NPC that you can go and visit, and they'll stay permanently right now. Should be appearing in your list of NPCs. Place it down and it will stay with you forever. You'll be able to get a bunch of stuff from it. And yeah, they've got huge things including a massive vault door, which is really cool. Braziers, lamps, decor props like baskets, pots and buckets, room decorations like room dividers and sigils, and I've got a new 2 building materials, a yellow variation of stained glass building blocks and a new stone worn terrain material. Yeah, and as I said, there should be a quest. If it doesn't pop up immediately inside the NPC when you've got your hammer or whatever, then check your quest tab, it should pop up what you got to do. Skill improvements, you can now individually reset stuff that happens with skills. So no more having to reset everything and do it all again. Instead, you can just backtrack on any skills that you put points into that way. They've added improved, better parry indications for enemies, as well as adding ability to see more clearly if a projectile can be parried or not. That new armadillo I was speaking about, you can find that in the desert or the dunes. And they've fixed a bunch of stuff with the villagers and animals and their pathfinding, doing their daily routines. And slight improvements also to dodge and blink can be activated earlier during wand attacks so that you've got the availability of defensive moves with the timing of melee weapons. Huge amount of places have had a little glow ups or revamps or expansions. Things like Rookmoor, Fenrig's Farm, Roostnook, Cloverbrook, Mistberry Catacombs, Sailing Quarry, Moth's Grove, Morwenna, Foxchase, Neverton. All of these have had improvements. In Springland, several new settlements have been added. They've also got the Enshrouded Ruins Mid-Hollow, a new farm location, Wistful Fields, various new camp locations, and they've changed some of the Springland's biome topography, also reducing some of the shroud overgrowth material. There's now better improved combat encounters in Blackmire region, and the Albanave summits have improved combat encounters too. And there's a brand new honour hall where you can find the winners of their Halloween competition they had. You should be able to see it once you go to an ancient spire in the region. Bunch of sound improvements and lots of fixes and stuff that have been going wrong, especially the taming of the cat quest. Still people were having problems with that. Also hiding from wildlife behind small hills should work a bit more predictably, and animals will no longer eat through solid walls. They've also changed some of the recipes for the cat and dog food, Cat food has more meat ingredients and nettles removed, and wolf meat has been removed from the dog food. And yeah, as said, there's a whole bunch more of fixes, but I won't bore you with that too much. And then we're moving on to the console news before I talk more about their development plans. Yeah, effectively, I was expecting Enshrouded to come out of early access. It seemed like that was what they were going to be teasing before Christmas. Didn't sound like they was going to have too many big updates left until they hit 1.0. And their original plans have always been, as far as I'm aware, to go onto Xbox or PlayStation once they hit 1.0. And that's confirmed again at the bottom of their roadmap. The 1.0 release is scheduled for spring 2026 alongside console launch with a creative mode and more user-generated content. So that's a good thing, right? I'm not being stupid. I'm not knocking devs trying to make their game better. It's been a successful game. They can have the time now to flesh things out a bit more, then maybe scrabble to get some of this done, or just not have it actually added to 1.0. But in more modern times, a lot of games have gone down the route of releasing it and then just adding quality of life afterwards. Look at games like Green Hell, which added a bunch of their most best updates actually after it went 1.0. And this meant they could release it on Xbox or PlayStation. It does require more work, but it also does mean they'll generate more money, more hype, more buzz. It's a third world problem, right? It's not really a problem, but if you're a console fan, it does mean you're going to have to wait just that extra longer now. And I always try and represent or think about console players, even though I've stopped really being a console player since I play mostly on PC nowadays. But the biggest reason I got a PC and became a gaming YouTuber for PC survival games as well as console was because I was sick of having to wait so long or months afterwards for updates for games like Ark or Conan. So, great stuff that the game's going to get fleshed out. I'm going to see a lot more content added to it, but I still think it would have been nice to have just gone 1.0 and then add a bunch of some of this stuff at least. Anyway, a lot of this, what we're going to see, I expect to have seen in a 1.0 update. And there's really no excuses now to not have a game release, even if it is in early access, since PlayStation have started doing early access titles lately with its Ark, Tales of Agaspar and a few others. And of course, Xbox have always had their game preview program. Enshrouded made a lot of money. They can afford to go ahead and get these ports done as well. But again, I'm not being stupid. I recognise the business sense, the game development time sense in waiting until they got more of the content they really want to flesh out before then going ahead and porting it. And some of this stuff does look really good. New weather events, improved night features where it's going to be more dangerous and more rewards. Going to add some sort of jukebox, brand new mountain biome hollow hall, colouring station for armour so you'll be able to dye stuff. Named pets, not too sure if that just means you can name your pets or you'll find special named pets. Edible signs, no you can't eat them but you can edit them. Sorry, that was a joke about my poor pronunciation. Display more foods, drinks and potions, and yes, we can clearly see they've got the text chat that's already in. They're going to have base raid islands, and this is interesting. It's something I've always thought the game needed. Like, you can make these amazing houses and stuff, but there's just no danger, there's no fear. I don't know if I wanted it to be survive the nights like 7 days to die, but maybe something a bit like Valheim where you can have a bit of fortification on your base. So I'm hoping that is the case and that is something we will see. But looking likely to be some sort of special island that if you build there, maybe it'll have base raids. That's what I can think of anyway. New weapon types, play music together with NPCs. Yeah, we've got some of that too. The water biome, like, am I mad? Is there actually water in the game you can use right now? I don't think there is. So does that mean we're going to be able to swim and do stuff like that? Brand new barber NPC. Named map markers, wall decay tool, more building blocks and props, and teleport to other servers. Now you can already transfer your characters to different worlds, right? But maybe just a more mechanical in-game way to do it? I'm not too sure. Let me know what that might entail. New moving traps, event systems, so maybe that could be tied into like raids or maybe just weather effects where eventually there'll be storms of more roving bands of enemies, more tough ones. New farm animals, new vanity clothing. Auto collect option, first person camera building, which is already in, as is the wall overgrowth tool, and community world sharing. Also going to be improving the shroud with more visuals, locations and rewards, weapon gem customization, water biome. Yes, obviously we saw it detailed there with the actual hollow hall, but there will be a proper water biome, weapon vanity system, new character customization options, options to prevent item collection to action bar, free prop rotation, we've got that already, the voice chat, global proximity, got that already, and the player modes, we've got that already. So clearly a mix of stuff we've already seen in today's update and stuff we're going to see for the future. So all really good stuff. Enshrouded is something I didn't really dip into enough when it first launched. I was too busy with other games and it just wasn't gelling with it, to be honest. But subsequent updates, I have revisited it and I started to really enjoy my time with it. So definitely want to do a full playthrough soon and really get acquainted with the game, obviously way ahead of 1.0. So I'm kind of glad I'll get a chance to revisit and make some fresh content and kind of keep up with other content creators this time. As yeah, I did really start to enjoy it and these improvements sound great, but I am still a little bit sad for console players that they're still going to have to wait a whole nother year now for this game to hit them. Only plus point is maybe they can actually launch on the Switch too. That would be something really cool as well. And absolutely creative mode is something people have been desperately crying out for. So that would be great to see that added with 1.0. Now I'm curious about the user generated content. Is that going to be basically maps that you'll be able to share easily and stuff like that? Or are they actually going to go down like paid kind of content or modded content but accessible for lots of different platforms? Much to ponder, and I'll hopefully be on it more with the regular updates for the rest of the year. As like I said, I really started to enjoy the game the last time I played it. So I'll see you for more Enshrouded news soon. Bye bye.